euphemism?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Where's my mouse?
Where's my mouse?
Where's my new book?
No,
Where's my mouse?
where's my mouse? Someone stole my mouse. No touching the mouse without consent. Okay.
Who stole my cheese?
All right. The mouse. Your mouse.
Welcome, traders. We're back.
Hello.
Episode 18.
Yes.
Everybody's late and nothing dies. No. Everything's late. Nobody dies.
That's also true. Both ways, really.
Yeah.
Did you know that you could vote for us on City Weekly? Best podcast?
Best podcast.
Yeah.
I've heard that. I should probably go do that.
Yeah, and vote for Blackout Comics while you're at it. Yeah, come on, vote us. Let's get that thing back here.
And it's not a small feat.
No.
Because you're not the only comic book shop in Salt Lake.
Yeah, trust me. Large feet. Believe me, okay? Oh, sorry. Sorry, that's what happens when I have a little Coke. See what it...
You just lose
Look how
control.
tiny that is.
That is a tiny Coke.
Yeah, it's a little Coke.
Yeah.
A little Coke will get me going.
All right. So I'm going to show off a few of the books. You of course, do have the sale going on still.
Yeah, all month.
Half off back issues. So I might rotate it through a few books that you can no longer get because these ones are coming home with me.
I was going to say, gee, why wouldn't you be able to get those, I wonder?
Actually found a couple old Go-Key Star Treks hiding out in
Yeah.
and some vintage horror, like 70s, 80s horror.
House of Mystery.
Actually, that's early 70s there.
Yep.
It's good stuff.
Good stuff.
I love that stuff.
It's so cool. It's so much fun.
I got into it with House of Mystery, of course, Swamp Thing.
Mm-hmm.
Draws you into it, but all that, the EC stuff.
Oh yeah, that was so fun. And Marvel had a lot of really cool stuff then too. Like DC and Marvel, Charlton, all those guys were just doing tons and tons of horror stuff in the 70s. I remember. Actually, yeah, we were just talking about one book, Adventures of the Unknown. Talking about that yesterday. Yeah. That came in. Can you throw the graphics up there?
I could.
Okay, you see. There we go. See, isn't that nice? Yeah, it's Adventures of the Unknown number 5 was the first one I ever got, and somebody brought it in there years ago in an old collection, and they're like, oh yeah, there's all this stuff, and yeah, a couple of cool superhero books, but most of them were just kind of weird, old books. That was from 1949. And I looked at it and I saw that cover and I was like, damn it, I gotta start collecting these.
Oh yeah, that pre-code. The pre-code, like the stories were of their time, right?
Yeah.
Like Rod Serling, Twilight Zone-ish type stories.
Yeah,
but
right. Always that twist.
Because there's only so much you can get away with. Even pre-code, there's only so much you can get away with.
Yeah.
But the covers, they really kind of pushed
so gorgeous
on those covers.
Man, they're so cool though, and so horribly creepy. Ogden Whitney did a lot of a lot of the work there. It was ACG, American Comics Group. But yeah, that number 5, it was just they were like in a boat in a swamp, and there's just things flying at them, and I was like, I think I might need this. And then I did more research into it. Turns out that's actually the first ongoing horror comic there ever was.
Huh.
Like, Tales from the Crypt was a little bit after that. It's 50s.
Right.
And even the old EC stuff, it wasn't all like devoted to horror. It was, sci-fi and, whatever. And then this stuff was a horror book, man. It was like, and some of the stuff was like a hardcore freaky stuff,
Yeah, like even if you go back now and you watch like the old Tales from the Crypt, because you watch like those original HBO Tales from the Crypt. And
oh yeah, and they were pushing it.
What was really pushing it for those times? That's nothing compared to what you see on American Horror Story now.
Oh right, yeah. Oh my.
Now,
God.
do you get Shudder?
Yeah.
What's that anthology horror that they revived on that?
Creep Show.
Was it Creep Show?
Uh huh. Yeah.
Is that any good?
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's really good.
The only thing I know about Friday the 13th movies is the one that he's in space has Lexi Doing in it.
God, I love that movie so much. That is so terrible. God, I love it, man. That's one of the best kills though, when they freeze the girl's face and.
I haven't even seen it. Okay.
Oh, God, and it's so
I was
good.
in the room when it was on. That's just Friday the 13th just doesn't do anything for me.
Oh man, I love just the trash that it is.
I've always really liked Halloween. I like the lore behind Halloween, but
We're talking about slashers, like talking to Star Trek about with you, man. You know. Yeah, I like Captain Picardo. No, it was actually Robert Picardo. Captain Picardo is a completely different character, and Robert Picardo is not the character; he's an actor, and I only know that because he was in The Howling and Gremlins too. But that's okay.
I did like The Howling.
That's a great movie.
Like, what was it, 2 or 3? Your sister.
Oh God, your sister's a werewolf. Your sister's a bitch. I don't think that's
the name of it.
No, your sister is a werewolf.
No, it was.
No, it wasn't. It was your sister is a werewolf.
I swear.
Oh, look it up.
The original theatrical
title is Sturbo Werewolf Bitch.
Sturbo werewolf. That's a motorcycle I drove for a while. Sturbo werewolf bitch.
Yeah, we're talking about Holly too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the
Oh my God, man.
title for a while.
Wait till you go to the marsupials, the third one.
That's our fact check.
Yeah.
Just so you know.
The marsupials, number 3. Have you seen that one?
No.
Oh, that's bad.
No.
And then they go to the Freaks. That's 4 right there. No, 4 is the original Nightmare. 5, I think, is the Freaks, and it has like vampires in it, and like a little person and a carnival, and I don't even know. That it goes so off the rails that the rails don't even exist anymore. I mean, that's like a Hellraiser dive, you know, like after the first.
Never seen any Hellraiser either.
Oh, the first one is brilliantly good. The second one, I love the second one. The third one, I love for cheesy fun.
See, I was expecting something more akin to Phantasm, and I love Phantasm.
Okay.
That scared the piss out of me when I was, 12 years old. Boy, so good.
Love Phantasm. I love all the Phantasms, even though they're not all good.
Yeah, I don't think there's really a bad one. Even the bad ones are really good.
Yeah. The last one? Did you like the last one?
I'm not. Is that the reboot or relaunch or?
No, that's the one that ties everything up.
I've seen 1, 2, and 3.
Oh, you need to see 4 and 5.
Oh, okay.
And because 4's not good, very good. It's just weird. You know, and Phantasm, I like Phantasm because it's just a fever dream of what the hell am I doing?
Yeah.
What is happening? And what in the world did Don Casarelli ingest before this happened? Like, what is he on, man? But he did Bubba Hotep. John dies in the end. Spoiler. That's the name of the movie. I don't care. I love this stuff.
Yeah,
it's great.
Bubba Hotep was brilliant.
Yeah. So yeah, if you get 4 again just goes off the rails. Reggie for some reason is the sexiest dude on Earth. Again, still whatever, man. And then you find out more stuff about the Tall Man, and some of the original cast comes back.
Huh.
It's really cool, man.
I'll have to get back
and then the
into
5th
that.
one wraps it all up. And yeah, watch 4 and 5, and then we'll talk. Cause I have my theories about it.
I'll probably just rewatch the whole thing all over again because it's worth it.
Yeah, God, they're so good, man. I love Phantasm too, though. Anyhow, all right. So Star Treks, the Star Treks, the golden keys of the Star Trek. You found a golden.
I
Star
actually
Trek.
have this one already. This one I don't have. So that one's going into the personal collection.
That's where Mr. Kirk has the fight with the Mr. Spocks, right?
Where the
I don't know.
Spock and Kirk, they only really fight in the Alpha Universe once.
Okay,
During a mock time.
Are they?
You should know this.
Are they together?
No,
Okay.
no.
Alright.
We're not going to ship Kirk and Spock.
Spurk.
Spork.
Spork. I like that. Well, I mean, man, it might be a thing like Iceman. Where Kirk's like, look at all these ladies. I'm totally not like that. And Spock's like, it's illogical the way you look at me.
I don't get that whole thing either because Kirk really wasn't Like, he was not the man whore that everybody thinks that
No,
he was.
no, he wasn't.
Chris
You know, I mean, it's,
Chris Pine's Kirk was.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Like, really bad.
Yeah,
They made that part of the character.
Yes, they did, and I like the inclusion of that, you know, because I find it very funny. Now, see, I like the new movies. I like the Chris Pine movies.
I did
the
too.
J.J.
I
Abrams
think they did a great job with them.
And I thought the first two Star Trek movies that Abrams did were probably the best Star Wars prequels we'll ever get. I really liked them.
Yeah.
They felt like Star Wars movies.
Yeah.
You know, instead of Star Trek movies.
Yeah.
And I mean that, like, the whole problem I always had with Star Trek is it was just too damn dry for me. You know, it was like, I mean, you know, the problem I had with Star Trek is the same problem that I had with the Star Wars prequels. I feel like they tried to make the new Star Trek movies like Star Wars, and they tried to make the Star Wars prequels more like Star Trek. They're like, all right, we're gonna sit here and talk about politics. Oh, is that an ET behind me? Maybe. I don't care.
Yeah.
I want that stuff, man. You know, and you get some great lightsaber fights, but it's in between political intrigue. It's an intergalactic C-SPAN. I don't care about that crap.
Yeah, Star Wars is definitely meant to be a sword and sorcery.
Yeah.
In outer space.
Sword and sorcery / samurai / western.
Yeah.
You know, that's all it is, with spaceships and furry monsters.
Yeah.
And people getting their arms cut off all the damn time.
That's why I think the Deep Lore does such a better job. The Dark Horse comics and even to some extent Mandalorian and the storytelling where they can go in more depth on these characters.
Yeah.
And I think that's why Marvel's going back to that well at this point.
And it's, I mean, you know, the thing with, I think, the Star Wars comics, I think that's also, you know, or the TV series, you know, those are the places to go into that stuff. I mean,
right.
You know, and if you had a Phantom Menace TV series, say, you know, I think that would have probably worked a little better when you put all three of the prequels in a TV series.
It would have worked a lot better.
And you do an 18-episode, single season TV series, and you put all three of those in there, that would have worked so much better. I mean, obviously they didn't have that. They didn't have that option back then, really.
Right.
They would have had to do it on Disney, on ABC, and that would have been weird.
Yeah.
But, you know, whatever. I mean, it's, you know, what it is. I think the Star Wars comics, that's a really good place for them to go with that sort of thing. You know, I just think it's a much better spot.
Yeah, and I honestly, I think that's why this is my prediction, Mike Greg-Stradamus prediction.
Yeah.
I have a feeling that Marvel is going to outsource that Star Wars stuff.
All of it?
It would make sense. I mean, Dark Horse knows how to do it.
So weird to see Dark Horse on the Star Wars cover.
It is.
It's so weird. I mean, it's kind of neat to see it again, but it's weird.
I mean, we're seeing just kind of bizarre stuff, you know, across the board. The speculation that DC's going to possibly Todd McFarland, possibly Image Comics.
And think about this, okay? That, you know, that speculation, everything lines up. McFarlane's been making figures and doing a ton of business with DC.
Right.
They just announced the Batman Spawn crossover, which wouldn't even be a crossover if he owned them.
Right.
I mean,
well, and it makes sense from a business standpoint for Discovery, HP, those guys, because they don't know comics.
Yeah, they don't know what to do with it.
They don't have a clue. It's best to leave the comic books to comic book creators. If they want good stories to tell, if they want good, you know, Batman to base movies on, then don't have your Hollywood scriptwriters trying to write Batman because they don't know Batman.
Yeah, exactly.
Todd McFarland knows Batman.
Yeah.
Jim Lee, not the greatest exec in the world, knows Batman.
I mean, he's the kind of exec that we all want.
Do whatever we ask.
Yeah. You walk into a room and you say, go do that, and he says, okay. I mean, and he's a perfect company executive.
Right.
He's the most imperfect creative executive I think maybe I've ever seen. And I met Jim a couple of times. He's a very nice guy. I don't have anything bad personally to say about him, but I mean, I feel like that's kind of how he does business, and DC has been taking advantage of that. I mean, they've been trotting him out. It looks like a Patty Hearst video, man. They've got him like sitting in a room in a chair like this, and he's reading a script, and they're trotting him out like he's Stan Lee, not Jim Lee.
Well, Stanley's gone. I mean, Stanley, Kirby's gone. Who do you got? You've got Jim Lee. You've got Todd McFarland. You've got Rob Liefeld. I
mean, they're kind of the next generation of these comic book bullpen bulletin showmen.
Right. That generation before these guys have all gone.
Yeah. I mean, Denny O'Neil, Neil Adams, Stan Lee, Jack Kirby. Ditko is still out there planning a government takeover or something. I don't know what he's doing right now. Who the hell knows what he's doing, man?
Writing speeches for Trump.
Yeah, right. There you go. Yeah, so I don't know. Man. It's you got to have somebody doing it, I guess. Yeah.
But I people are all up in arms about the possibility of DC kind of maintaining that IP and then farming out comic books.
Mm-hmm.
I happen to think that it's a great idea.
I still don't even think they're going to maintain it. They will keep the film rights. Warner Brothers keep the film rights,
right.
And that's it.
Yeah, they keep the IP, and then let somebody else pick up the license to.
I don't even think it's going to be a license. I think they'll be paying a license for the movies.
No,
it'll be like a Sony Marvel thing.
It'll be a licensed situation. They'll keep that IP. I mean, you don't sell Batman. You don't sell Superman. That's like
people have time and time again.
No,
and plus it's going public domain in 10 years. So what are you going to do with that?
They'll figure a way around that.
Yeah,
they'll just whatever the mouse does, they'll follow up.
Yeah, that's true
because they've been able to keep Mickey Mouse under the thumb for 100+ years.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, they'll figure it out, but they're not that clever. They're not as clever as Disney.
Yeah,
I mean we've seen that.
It kind of reminds me. Have you had a chance to read? I want to say Fear Street, but that's not the name of the book.
No, that's the R.L. Stein movie.
Yeah. The Sesame Street ripoff.
Oh, Survival Street.
Survival Street.
No, I haven't. No, not yet.
Because it kind of reminds me of that. Because at some point, we're going to get to the point where they're going to say, okay, your corporation has the right, like the right, a constitutional right, to have these characters that are maintained by your corporation. That's kind of the stuff that they do in that book, and it's pretty interesting.
Huh. Yeah. No, I think that, and I mean, I wouldn't be surprised, if they just sold everything, and part of that was keeping the film rights, not necessarily paying for the film rights, but I mean, keeping the film rights for, say 10 years for Batman and or 13 years for Batman, 10 years for Wonder Woman, 11 years, or whenever those copyrights, whenever they come into public domain, just to cover their bases. And man, I feel like if they do that, you're gonna see a glut. You're either gonna see a glut of Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman content on HBO Max and the theaters and all that kind of stuff, or Discovery Max or Maximum Discovery or what the hell ever they're going to start calling it. I don't know, shit. So I feel like you're either going to see that, or you're going to see like a Fantastic Four situation when they only put one out every 3 or 4 years just to make sure it's still theirs.
Right. Yeah, I don't know. I think they would be ill-advised to get rid of the IPs, and I don't think they're dumb enough to do that. Because there's just so much.
I don't know. You ever dealt with Lunar?
Yeah. The comics will never, ever make as much money as the movies.
Right.
That's never going to happen. So they're going to
those days are gone.
They're going to keep those IPs so that they can make those movies because that's where the bucks are. But they don't know how to run a comic book company. So it makes sense for them to say, okay, Image, Todd McFarland, whoever, IDW, I don't. buy
You're going to
this
be
license.
IDW.
No. Buy these licenses, and you can just send us a check every month and do what you want with these characters.
Yeah.
And, I mean, that's the only reason for them to be taking the steps that they've made this week.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they've downsized DC offices
Mm-hmm.
and pretty much moved them into a temporary situation.
I mean, they're basically Milton in office space at this point,
Yeah.
right? They're just sitting down there waiting for a
yeah,
paycheck and looking
absolutely.
for their staplers, right?
They have taken that part of it, the creative, the physical mechanism of creating these books, and made it mobile. So now that can pick up and go to, well, they're in California now. They can pick up and go to Jersey or Florida or Texas or wherever.
Yeah.
So that's mobile. And to accompany that, they've ordered character Bibles for all of their major characters. So to me, that's saying we're going to retain the rights. These are the guidelines that you have to follow.
Yeah.
So within these guidelines, do what you want.
I predict Dan DiDio is going to come back and buy DC and run everything. Okay, that is not my real Greg Stradamus this week. Okay, it's not. No, it's not.
I just really think it would be a very positive thing. I mean, if nothing else, to have DC Comics in the hands of a comic book company that knows how to work with Diamond,
Yeah.
so we can get distribution fixed.
Yeah. No, I mean, yeah, and I feel like that to me is like the huge upside of this. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of upsides, but and the upside of them no longer having DC partially is to fix this distribution problem, because you need everything even across the board. You can't have different rules for different companies, for different distributors, for different shipments, for different everything. You can't do it. It doesn't work. It's been proven in the last 2 years that it doesn't work.
Right.
I mean, that's why. That's why I'm still getting Marvel from Diamond. I know they're going to screw it up, but I know how they're going to screw it up. Basically, you know what I mean?
You've got that experience behind
Right?
it.
Yeah. And it's the comic devil. That's all it is.
And I think both the big two are looking at each other, waiting for the other one to blink at this point.
Oh yeah.
And they're just like, all right, so are you going to step into this territory? Because if you are, we're going to watch and see how you do it.
Yep.
And if it works, we're going to copy. If it doesn't, we're going to fix your mistakes. And
It's Kevin Bacon and a tractor and Footloose. They're just going at each other, and somebody wants to do something, and I don't know what you're going to do. I'm not going to move. You going to move? No, I'm not going to move. And then we'll look like we made the big mistake. And then,
so movie night at Greg's house is a double feature: Friday the 13th and Footloose.
Kevin Bacon was in both.
Was he in Friday the 13th?
That was his first movie.
I didn't know.
He was a Diner came out before, but this is
didn't know
introducing Kevin Bacon. He's the one to get the spear through his throat. Don't yell spoilers. It came out like 45 years ago or whatever. I don't care.
All right. So we do have. We're going to a concert tonight.
Mm-hmm.
Not together. He's not my date.
You don't know that.
I don't. It
You don't know where I'm going to be.
Could be a Black Flag thing.
All right.
We don't know what's going on. My wife will make me edit that one out.
That's the wrong Black Noun Comics.
Black Noun. Welcome to Black Noun Comics.
Yes. Yeah. There you go. Yes. Color Noun Comics.
So anyway, we're gonna move on to the picks of the week. I didn't read a whole lot this week. I haven't had an opportunity. I didn't get a lot sent to me this week. I usually get Scout sends me a couple, and IDW maybe one or two. Black Caravan.
And it might be because of the holiday.
Probably. I didn't get a whole lot
Because there was no DC FOC again.
But this one I was really looking forward to, and finally came out this week. Dear Detective. It really is cool. It's not a comic book. It's a coffee table style picture book of Lee Brahamo covers. but it's got if you liked the Batman, Robert Pattinson's The Batman, this is a book you'll enjoy. Because it's a letter written to Batman. I assume by the Joker, or not the Joker, the Riddler. They don't specifically say that, but it's done in the same style as the little notes that he left throughout the movie.
Oh, okay.
And there's a little kind of a mystery that you have to kind of piece together as you're reading it to figure out what the last page is going to say. So it's
cool.
very intellectually interactive.
Oh, well, that rules me out.
The artwork is, of course, brilliant. I
so
really
good.
like his work. Really gritty. I didn't really notice. I mean, I bought all of these B covers when they came out. But you look at them, you're like, oh, that's cool. And you don't pay a whole lot of attention.
Is there
to
an
it in a
actual story with
format
him?
like this. Yeah.
So he's put a story together with his variants.
Yeah.
Okay, that's the most clever thing I've seen DC do in years.
It really is, and I mean, it gets a little disjointed. They kind of had to write around the covers in a couple places to make it work, but it doesn't feel forced at all. And it's just a real enjoyable one shot. It's not tied into anything.
That sounds kind of cool,
it's
actually.
not really commercial, so it's not promoting the movie. It's not. It's just a good standalone.
And that's something crazy that like you don't see from Marvel or DC anymore. I mean, you don't see something that just comes out to come out.
Right.
They're always promoting something, and anytime there's a new Marvel miniseries or a new relaunch of a series, I look at it and immediately I'm like, okay, that's either going to be a Disney Plus show, or they're going to show up in Wave 4, or they're going to, you know what I mean? They're going to do a solo movie. It's one of the untitled, There's no, like, that kind of stuff isn't fun anymore, just to see something new pop up and know that they're doing it just because somebody happens to like. Next Wave would never happen now.
Oh, yeah.
Because none of those characters are really going to be in any movies or TV shows. They would never be able to do a Next Wave now.
I was actually thinking something very similar. I picked up my copy of Outlawed #1, and I was looking at it today, and I was like, they would never do this again because these are not characters that are moving forward.
Yeah.
Like one character of that entire ensemble cast may be showing up someday in the MCU, and that's the only reason that book's got any heat.
Yeah.
And they're putting, Moon Girl on absolutely everything right now because
and
they want to do a Moon Girl TV show.
Yeah. I mean, she's already confirmed she's going to be in an animated series. Can't remember which one it is.
And I'm not opposed to a Moon Girl animated series.
Yeah.
But I don't buy comic books to get a preview. Like, I'd go out and buy TV Guide if I wanted that.
Well, yeah. And the funny thing is, you were talking about comics are never going to make as much money as the movies do, and I remember a time where that was opposite.
Right.
I mean, they would put a Captain America movie out, remember or the Dolph Lundgren Punisher or something, and maybe make $1 million, but you'd sell 5 million copies of the Punisher.
Right.
So it's like the movies used to be advertisements for comics. Now the comics are advertisements for movies.
Right. And this one is, the way they've done this is, I mean, it obviously ties into the movie. But the book came out this week and the movie came out, a year ago. So,
yeah.
I mean, they didn't do it to promote the movie. They did it as kind of an afterthought. Look, this cool thing that we can do.
Yeah.
And I think the payoff is there. It's really cool. It's a quick, 30-minute read. Well, it's an $8 cover price. Well worth it. It's never going to be a $1,200 book, but
no,
it is really cool. And
I
it's
mean,
one that
it might be a $15 book.
Yeah,
because it was under-ordered, I think, severely.
Yeah.
But we still have them.
I mean, you got a few on the shelf.
Yeah, you got a couple more in the back. We got plenty of them.
But super, super, super cool.
Nice.
Really enjoyed that one.
Awesome. Well, my pick of the week, speaking of fun and goofy, is Fearless Dawn. This is a one-shot. Fearless Dawn's been going for probably about 10 years. There's a whole bunch of different one-shots and miniseries and all kinds of things. Just years and years past. But you don't have to... I mean, they're all self-contained. You don't have to really read any of them. You know, and it's just... It's fun. It's kind of a... It's not steampunk, but it's kind of a steampunky feel with the character designs, you know, little tank girl kind of stuff. You know, there's monsters and dinosaurs and fighting and weirdness. And, you know, I was telling you earlier, it feels very much like, you know, something that would have come out in the 80s, like a little indie book in the 80s, you know. I can see, you know, maybe, God, I don't know, Caliber putting it out, you know, in an anthology or something, you know, I don't know, just something like that. Actually, no, slave labor. This would have been a slave labor book in the 80s. I feel.
I can see that.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
And, you know, it's a lot of fun. There's nothing earth-shattering or life-changing about it. You know, it's just a fun, irreverent, cool book. That's all.
I think that's kind of where I'm at in reading anymore. I pick up the spec books because I sell on the secondary market. I'm not doing a lot of that anymore either.
Yeah, that's
I spent more this week on books than I have in a long time.
Yeah.
In a single week. I think
and they're all for
every single
you.
one of them went in my personal collection.
Yeah.
It's all stuff that I'm reading and enjoying. And
well, part of the reason you spent so much is because there were 2 Star Trek books.
yeah, there were 2 Star Treks. That 400th issue was beautiful.
So, yeah.
So, yeah, super cool stuff. I did notice the artwork in this, like you had opened it up and we were looking at it. Very kind of early 1980s Mad Magazine-ish.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, very much. Some of it looks like Mad Magazine, like old Jack Davis stuff or something, you know.
Yeah.
Some of it looks like old Cracked or Crazy Magazine or you know, something. You know, a lot of it actually reminds me of, we were talking about the horror comics earlier. Remember ARG?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
We were talking about that a few weeks ago.
Definitely.
That was one of the books I got when I was a kid. I mean, I would have been 5 or 6 years old when that came out.
Right.
And it scared the living hell out of me. It was just so creepy and weird. But I loved it.
Chickens.
Yeah, God, I loved it, man. I loved it, you know. And this has kind of got a lot of that over-the-top, like, fun cartoony. You know, I mean, like there's cartoony like Humberto Ramos. I don't find that fun.
Right.
I find that kind of annoying. You know, but there's fun cartoony, like we're saying, Jack Davis. You know, Don, what's his name that used to draw for Mad. Don Martin.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. You know, I mean, a lot of these guys. Some of the crazy, like Mike Allred stuff, you know, like the old Madman stuff, things like that. I mean, I like that kind of over-the-top cartoony, exaggerated stuff. That I like the 90s, a lot of the 90s stuff, Joe Madureira, you know, J. Scott Campbell, Humberto Ramos, all the other people that are everybody else's favorites but mine. You know, I don't really love their stuff, with the exception of McFarland. I don't know why McFarland is that different to me. I don't understand it, and because it's anatomically completely incorrect. There's no realization of anatomy or realism at all.
Right.
Mary Jane's hair looks like she's constantly in a Whitesnake video. You know, the way she's dressed is just like, oh my God, are you kidding me? Nobody would go out, especially in New York City in the 80s like this. Nobody would dress like that, man. That is ridiculous. Yeah, she always looks like she's in a Whitesnake or a Madonna video or something.
Yeah.
You know, and it's just like, oh my God, it's so goofy. And I love it so much. I don't know why I love it. Like, there's something about that Spider-Man stuff that he did that I just absolutely love.
I don't know. I'm getting to the point where I'm that old man that I only like the stuff that I liked when I was a kid, and all this newfangled stuff just.
Well, see, I can't do that, man, because when I was a kid, I was stealing my dad's Playboys, and I wanted to grow up to be a dinosaur. So I can't do that. That's dumb. Or Han Solo, or Danny from Grease.
But when you start accepting new things, you end up reading John Carter of Mars. That's how that works out.
Is that the old saying?
And I'm not going down that road.
Is that old saying?
Yeah.
That's Confucius, right?
Yeah.
You start accepting new things, you end up reading John Carter from Mars?
Yeah.
I remember that. I think I got that. Yeah. That was my I was looking at my astrological sign the other day. That's what was there. That was it. That's it right there, man.
My sign's John Carter's with Mars Rising.
An art dropping.
I don't even know. Did they cancel that after 3 issues?
Oh no. Five is out now. Yeah.
Man.
Don't worry, you've got more.
Man.
The number 5, though, one of the covers on it was very obviously just like the interior art. It was all that weird blocky. It looks like Tarzan from the Disney movie. And so he came in the other day and looked at it and said, "Oh no, what have they done to John Carter?" And I'm like, "Well, show up Wednesday. Eric will talk to you about it. That'll be fine. Yeah,
it's not great.
Yeah, so I don't know. Anyway, it's all tastes.
Did you get a chance to read the Haunted Comic Shop?
I read like the first half of it. I really liked it. It was fun.
Really?
Yeah. It kind of reminds me of a Tales from the Crypt sort of thing, but with a comic shop. It's she's like, "Oh, I'm gonna tell you a story," and there's like 2 covers on each one. It's a flip book.
Oh, cool.
So and then she's like, the hostess, is like, flip to the other side, see what else we got in store for you. It's like, that's fun. I like that. Yeah.
The kind of blurb that they gave about it read like it was kind of like the old Friday the 13th TV show.
Yeah.
Like you go
in, the antique shop, and there's something there, and then yep. That's probably what it's more like than Tales from the Crypt, actually.
Yeah. The name of the book escapes me. I'll put an overlay up so people know what the hell we're talking about, but
Shock Shop.
Yeah.
It's very much like that, and kind of I felt like the Friday the 13th series was a cut rate Needful Things, and then I thought that Needful Things, when the movie came out, even though I really enjoyed it, was like a cut rate Friday the 13th series. It's like weird. They just kept doing the discount tiers, but I still loved them.
I really loved Friday the 13th. And it's really upsetting. Last year around Halloween, I was like, "Oh, you got to watch this series."
The TV series. We got to delineate this, because earlier you were saying I don't like Friday the 13th.
And is it? Yeah, it's Friday the 13th.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
So I was telling Kat, we got to watch this TV series. I loved it when I was a teenager, because she had never seen it, and you can't get it anywhere. Like, nobody has it. It's not streaming anywhere. You can't buy it anywhere.
I think it's probably a rights issue.
Probably.
Because that Friday the 13th is tied up with Paramount. But it's weird because the movies are kind of split. When they did the remake, it was like Platinum Dunes and Paramount. Okay, because Paramount has Friday the 13th.
Right.
But the character of Jason, Paramount doesn't have. So when it went to New Line, there were always lawsuits about all this stuff, and so Victor Miller was like, he's the writer of the first movie, and he was like, no, that's Friday the 13th, because Jason didn't even happen really as a character until the second one, right? So they kept Friday the 13th, and that's why when it went to New Line, you saw, Jason Goes to Hell, Jason X, Freddy vs. Jason. There was no mention of Friday the 13th in there. Nothing. Because they still kept that. And I'm wondering if there's some sort of... Because I can't remember what station that aired on. I want to say it was like NBC or something. Or
UPN.
Was it UPN?
Yeah. It was
Okay.
first run syndication on UPN.
Okay, so it was Paramount's. Huh.
I mean, it's not even on Paramount Plus.
Yeah.
Like, I can't find it anywhere.
Hmm.
There's a few series like Poltergeist, the TV series.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
You like it's not streaming anywhere, not even on Showtime, which doesn't make sense because they have all their old stuff.
Yeah.
Like they still have Stargate, but like, and they only produced the first season on Blu-ray or on DVD.
Really?
And I've got it, but like I love that series.
Wow.
I thought that was really good.
Oh, gotta remember the Freddy's Nightmares.
Oh, I just barely remember that one.
Yeah, that was his TV series where he just showed up. He's like, "Hey, I'm Freddy. I'm getting paid $3 million to wear a glove and get in some cheaper version, quicker version of the makeup. And here's the story." You know, he was like the Crypt Keeper host of it.
Right.
You know, and then they did a little thing. He's like, "Oh, aren't you glad you didn't wake up?" And then there's the credits. Like, he literally just came in as a bookend. Got paid a ton of money to do nothing. You know, because I mean, he earned it. You know, I think Robert Englund totally earned the paycheck for those things, and it was great. But yeah, like that stuff too. And I don't even know where that would. I don't know where that would have ended up. Because I know, you know. Well, you know what though? Man, some of that problem. Oh God. Okay, I'm starting to figure this out now. So you got Paramount with Friday the 13th. You got New Line with Jason.
Right.
New Line's a Warner Communication company.
Right.
So they're not going to let anybody else touch anything even close to that. And you gotta license that out. Like when it was Anchor Bay, I think, that put out the box set of the Friday the 13th stuff, and they had to license that. For years, Paramount has said they don't care about horror stuff either, because they always said, "Oh yeah, we don't have any of that footage. We threw it away." Like all the cut stuff, you know, and a lot of it they did. And when they put out Friday the 13th on DVD and, you know, whatever, like their special, you know, features were like a trailer and then stills, you know, and they were like interactive menu. I'm like, oh, that's a very special feature. Thank you. Yeah, so you know, I'll bet it's between Warner Brothers and Paramount, and I'll bet they're fighting.
Pretty sad. A lot of that stuff just kind of going by the wayside.
Yeah, and that's, you know, that's what we're talking about with like the streaming stuff.
It's our legacy. Our legacy's gone.
Yeah, what are we gonna do? God.
Read comic books.
Fair. Speaking of which, I'm having a sale. You know that, right?
And the sale's going through the end of the month.
Through the end of September.
All right.
Well, September 2022. I don't want anybody like watching this next year and going, "Oh, great, there's a sale."
Nice.
2022. Okay. Yeah. So.
And you haven't even touched. Like,
Oh boy, I've been getting through so much stuff.
yeah,
But it feels like you haven't touched them.
there is like a whole grip of boxes you haven't even opened from that last big purchase.
Yeah.
A lot of stuff to
There
go.
was just so much of that. But,
All right, so we're gonna need to wrap this up because my wife keeps calling me. I can see my little phone right there.
Yeah. I thought you knew somehow I had to go to the bathroom.
So make sure you tune in every Wednesday. We're going to come at you live right here from Blackout Comics, where we run down the wall, show you all the new books that are out, and Greg's going to show you what he's going to be recommending for the week there. This show shows up every Monday morning at 8 o'clock Mountain Time. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe,
Ding.
and hit the bell so you can be notified whenever we come around.
I gotta go to the bathroom. It's not gonna be exuberant.
All right.
Ding.
See you later, traders.